Hey Thinksters, what's up? It's Adam, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about this question: how can I pad zeros to a string in Python? So you may have had a string and wanted to make it a certain length by adding zeros to it, or you may have wanted to center align it or add other characters to it. If you're pretty printing, you could obviously just type it out, but we're programmers. We hate typing. Surely there must be a way to do this via code. And of course there is. Python to the rescue. The very, very simple answer is use the string.zFill method. Unsurprisingly, this stands for zero fill. Just takes one argument, the final length of the string you want, and it pads the string with zeros to the left. So let's say we have, let's type it out. Let's say we have this string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, length 5, and we want it to be length 10 by adding 5 zeros to the start of it. So we'll do b is a.zfill 10, our final length, and we'll see that the length of b is 10, and if we print b out, boom, we get that it is exactly the same as a, but it now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros added to it. If you enter a value that is less than the length of the string, so if we do b is a.zfill 3, we know that a is of length 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we will see that it just returns the string unmodified. So b is actually the same as a in this case. And this is going to be the case for all the different methods that we're going to look at. So that's how you pad zeros, but what if you want to pad characters? What if you want to align strings? And what if you're doing more complex string operations using f strings and format? Let's dive into that now. So quick overview, we'll look at the string padding methods, we'll look at using format methods, so the f strings and format, and then we'll look at which is the best. So I highly recommend watching the video. Obviously I'm recording it right now, so let's get right to it. So Python has several built-in string methods to pad strings. You're not limited to zeros. You can pad with any character you want, and their names are super easy to remember. So we've got 3: ljust, rjust, and center. So either left justified, right justified, or centered. Note that I was a bit confused when I first heard this, like which way is left, which way is right justified. But it's the exact same as if you're justifying text. So this text right here that I'm highlighting has been left justified here, or left aligned. If we click center, it's going to be centered, right justified, right aligned, right justified on the right hand side. So the strings work the exact same way, and all these functions, or rather methods, have the exact same syntax. So I've just put the ljust one here. So you have some string dot ljust, and then it takes 2 arguments. The first one, width. So this is the length of the string you want to return. And if you enter a width that's smaller than the length of string, let's update this here actually, then the length of string, Python returns string unmodified, as we saw with the zfill method. And then the second argument, fill char, like fill character, is optional. And that's the character you want to use to pad the string. So by default, it's a space. So if you do like ljust with 10 and nothing, then it's going to make the string 10 length in total, and it will pad it with space. But you can use anything you want as long as it's a string, and we'll show that soon. And if you pass a string longer than 1 character to fill char, then Python raises a type error. It has to be exactly 1 character long. So let's look at some examples. So we've got a, and we'll call that hello. Awesome. And now we're going to make it width 10. So a.ljust 10. You'll see that hello is 5 characters long, and then there are 5 more characters here. We're going to make it width 40. We do the exact same thing. Boom, it's now 40 characters long. There's 5 here, and then there will be 35 there. And now let's pad it with some other things. So a.ljust 10, and we're going to pad it with a 0. Note that the 0 is in a string. It has to be a string. And you'll see we have 5 characters of hello, and then 5 zeros. If you do, and I've done this so many times, it like this, then you get a type error. The fill character has to be a Unicode character, basically any string. It can't be an integer or anything else. So just be aware of that. They are string methods, so obviously you have to pass strings to everything. And we can use anything we want. So in the example here, character 40, and we'll use a hyphen. Boom, there we go. And if we pass it something that is longer, so let's say we want it 40 length in total, I'm going to pad it with 1, 2. This is a type error. It has to be exactly 1 character long. Now let's race through this. Oh, I haven't finished editing that there. If we want to right justify it or right align, we just change that ljust to rjust. And now hello is on the right hand side, whereas if we do ljust 10, hello's on the left hand side. And all the examples work pretty much the exact same way. I won't go through them all because I think they all make sense here. Rjust 40, hello's all the way over there. And we'll do a.rjust 40 and we'll pad with a 0. Why not? Boom, we can do that. We can pad with an exclamation mark. We can pad with the letter G, anything we want. And then we'll now look at center. So one thing to note with center that's slightly different from these is that if the middle of your string is not exactly in the middle of width, remember this argument is called width, Python will slightly less justify it, and this happens, with all of them below. So let's say we have a.center. Also, unfortunately for any of you Brits like me, it's not center like this, RE, it's all ER. So if you type in center 10, you see that hello is in the middle of this string now, and center, unfortunately, is not a method in Python. But that's okay. I don't think it'll be too difficult to remember. So let's see. So my point being here, let's say we pad with zeros. We see that hello is slightly left justified because there are 2 zeros on the left and 3 on the right. But if you pick a number like number 11, so in this case an odd number, then you'll see that there's now 3 zeros on the left and 3 on the right. And the same thing works, of course. We can pass any argument to the second one and any number to the first argument. So that's all. They are all the methods. Really easy to remember, really simple to use. And yeah, this is what they've been designed for. Really recommend using these. However, if you're doing some more complex string padding, you might be using the format method, you might be using f strings, then you'll be using these already. So it'd be nice to just know, how can I use these? Is there a way to do this using f strings? And yes, there is. So first off, f strings introduced in Python 3.6, and they are now the de facto standard for string formatting in Python. But just for completeness, we'll also include info on the format method. The official Python docs give you a really, really nice overview, but these particular docs about string formatting are notoriously difficult to understand. So most of the Python docs are quite easy to understand and really, really well explained, but these may take you a while because they use, the language they use is a bit complicated and stuff. I've tried to include it in here and make in my article and make it easier to understand. So if you read my article first and then go to the docs, you should be okay. But yeah, they can be a bit complex. So just fair warning there. But at the same time, if you read through them and when you eventually understand them, your coding skills will have improved so much, and it's building that muscle to be able to read docs, because this is a huge part of being a programmer, like reading the documentation of different bits of code. So let's get into f strings. This is personally one of my favorite parts of Python. I just think they're so nice to read, so useful, and really, really powerful. So, as a side note, Real Python have an amazing tutorial about f strings in general, how to use them, all that good stuff. There's a link here in the article to it, which I would really, really recommend. But we'll just be covering, how to pad strings and change the alignment and things in this article. But here's a quick overview of f strings. So they're the same as strings, which are denoted either by single quotes or double quotes. But to denote an f string, you either put an F at the start, or you can put a capital F at the start, and they're both classed as f strings. And you'll see that they both print out hello. So, like, Adam, why are we doing this? This seems a bit silly. The key feature of them is something called a replacement field, and this is what they're called in the docs here. You may not read this in other articles because it can seem a bit scientific, but I want you to be able to read the docs, so I'm using the official Python language. Okay, so bear with me here. We can do it. So, key feature is a replacement field. This is denoted by curly braces. So inside these braces, you can put variables, you can put expressions, you can even put functions. So this is super helpful as it lets you, gives your string so much flexibility. And these replacement fields are actually evaluated at runtime. So you can put expressions in there and anything, and it makes them so powerful. So I'll give you some more examples than this simple one included in the article. So the most basic example, name equals John Cleese, my favorite member of Monty Python. And if we do print f to denote it's an f string, I am called name, we'll see that in IPython it changes the color to denote that it's a replacement field. And now what's going to happen? It's going to print I am called, and it will get to this replacement field and go, oh, okay, this is a variable name, so it's going to call this variable name and replace it with its value. Boom, I am called John Cleese. And if we just did it as a normal string, IPython unfortunately doesn't recognize that it's not a proper replacement field. And because we haven't put this F at the front, it will just literally print I am called name. And also, let's do this, but with a capital F. To be honest, I'm not sure. I've never seen a capital F used, but you can use anyone, and it works the exact same as if it's a lowercase. I guess it's just less typing if you use a lowercase f. And like I said, you can put expressions in here as well. So, for example, let's do print f. My favorite number, if I can type, number is, and let's do 65 times 3. So I'm just making this up, right? And it will print it out. My favorite number is 195. Amazing. Let's define a quick function, myfunc, and we'll say return. Let's return 75 divided by 4. Okay, so we just call myfunc. It gives us 18.75, and if we do print f string, the result of myfunc is myfunc. Boom. Oh, okay, so what did I forget to do here? I didn't call myfunc. So let's go back up, and we need to put the brackets in to show that we're calling the function. And there we go. The result of myfunc is this. So really, really powerful. You put anything in here, and it's great. So, as this article is focused on padding strings, we can also modify the string inside the replacement field. So let's go back to this example. I am called name. Let's get this. Whoa. Nice. I'm called name. We may want to pad this with something. So the way we can pad it, align it, can change its length as well. And this is called specifying the format. So we are specifying the format of the string, or in other words, format specification in Python. And in the docs, you will see it as format spec for short. Let's see if I can quickly find it here. So here we go. The general form of a standard format specifier is format spec. Now, to be honest, I find these like colons and equal signs a bit confusing, and all of these things also a bit confusing. So these brackets mean that they're optional. Just kind of ignore these. It basically just means this is equal. And then these are all the options that you can choose. A vertical line, a pipe here means these are optional, and you can do this or this or this or this, but you can't have both of these, as we will explain and see shortly. So we're going to specify the format of the string. So to do that, you use a colon after the variable, right? One thing to note as well is that you have to call it as a variable in here. You can't do this. John Cleese, because it thinks everything. Python thinks everything in here is a variable name. And I guess let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we put quotes around this. What happens? So it does work then, but like why would you do this? Like it doesn't really make any sense. The whole point of these replacement fields is that they are replacing a function or a variable or something, and you can modify them in ways that you want. It's supposed to make it easier. It would be a bit silly to put a string inside here. So in order to modify this, we're going to have name, then we're going to put a colon. All right, and then we're going to put some things after this colon. So as you can see here in the official docs, there are lots of different things you could put after here. Some of them apply just to numbers. So again, we will do, let's just create this random number, like A is 67, and we're going to do print the number is A. That's going to print the number is 67. And some of these apply just to numbers. For example, sign and precision applies to floats. Type also applies to numbers. So we're going to ignore these for now and just focus on the ones we care about, which are fill, align, and width. And you've seen and mentioned all these words already, so hopefully they'll be familiar. Note that you must pass them to this in this order: fill, align, width, or for FAW, if that helps you remember. So what do each of these mean? So fill is the character to use for padding, the same way as if we have our string. So what's our string? Name.ljust. The second argument is the character used for padding. This is the fill char. Width is the exact same as the first argument in ljust. So it's the integer value stating the total length you want of the string. And then align is the alignment. So that's like left justified, right justified, or center. And you use less than, greater than, or the caret symbol to be left, right, or center. And note that the way the arrow is pointing dictates the alignment. So the arrow is pointing to the left, it's left aligned. Arrow is pointing to the right, it's right aligned. Pointing up, then it's center. And I think all of these make a lot of sense. So that's pretty nice. So let's say we want to pad our string with zeros, i.e. our fill is 0. We want to align it to the right. So we're going to use greater than and have width 10. So we do fill 0, right align, greater than, and width 10. So let's go to our example here. So I am called name. So we're going to do name colon, and then we'll put fill first. We're going to fill it with zeros. We're going to right align it like this, and then we're going to have width 10. Boom. Oh, wait, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Okay, well, let's see here. A is hello. Let's use this example here. Print f A colon 0 greater than 10. There we go. It works here. Name, we know is this. Why didn't it work? Because length of name is 11. So therefore, it doesn't return anything. So for this one, if we do printf, I am called name, because the length of name is less than 10, it just returns the string in place, unmodified. So let's say we want to fill it with zeros, right aligned, but now it's length 20 in total. That'll work. Boom, I am called all these zeros, John Cleese. Nice. Okay, so let's go through it and just change one of the options one by one to see the differences. So we'll use this simpler example. So we'll do A is hello. And then now we're going to use a hyphen fill character. So print f string a colon. So first is we change the fill character. So we're now going to use hyphen, but we're still going to be right aligned and of total length 10. Close the string. Boom. There we go. And now hello is 5 characters long. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra hyphens added. So if we specify no fill character, then space is used. So print f a colon. So we're just going to specify nothing here. Right aligned, total length 10. And now 5 spaces are here. And then let's change it to an exclamation mark. Boom. There we go. Okay, so let's now change the alignment. Remember, the way the arrow is pointing is the way it is aligned. So we're going to use so an f string, open the curly brace, the variable we want a, followed by a colon to indicate that it is the format spec, specifying the format. We're now using hyphen fill character, boom, put that first, left alignment, so point to the left, and 10 characters long in total. And now hello is to the left. And we'll skip some of these examples here. So let's do center alignment now. So print f a colon. So fill character, we'll use an exclamation mark. We'll now put it in the center, and again we'll put it 10 characters long in total, and boom, there we go. And you see again that our hello is slightly less justified because Python can't put an equal number of things on either side. So final thing we're going to do is change the string length. So that will be this final part. So we're going to mix them all up now. So let's first do, so print, obviously, f string, start the string, open our curly brace, put our variable, colon, awesome. So we'll use a hyphen character. We're going to align it to the right, and then we're going to have length 40. And then that's everything we need. Close, boom, there we go. So now there are 35 of these hyphens followed by hello. And if we specify, of course, no fill character, we're going to use space. So let's do print a colon. So no character right now, no fill character. So we're going to do space, right alignment, and then length 25 in total. Boom, there we go. So there will be 20 space characters here, followed by this. And we can see, finally, we can use the exclamation mark, fill character, center alignment, length 33. Boom, there we go. Okay, what if we want to pad multiple strings? Really easy when you use f strings, you just use multiple replacement fields. So we already have A, let's get B, let's do our hello world, exclamation mark. Awesome. So now we're going to, it's really, really simple. So print f, open string, exact same as always. We're going to do A first, so we'll pad with an underscore, we'll center align it and length 11. So A, so pad with underscore, center alignment, length 11. And then we'll put some extra text here. And now we're going to pad B with zeros. We're going to right align it and length 10. So close that, close this, boom, there we go. So A has been padded like so, B has been padded like so, and our extra text in the middle is there. So really, really simple to do. So that's f-strings, really recommended to do this. This is the, pardon me, de facto standard, what you should be using, but for completeness, let's now get into using the format method. But first, I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. Delicious. So, I think the best way to explain format is just to compare it to f-strings. So hopefully, if you don't understand f-strings, I recommend reading through the article or watching that bit of the video again, because format, I'm going to use understanding of f-strings to explain format. So again, we have our variable a, which is hello, and the following are the same. So we've seen this already. So print f a colon. So hyphen padding, right alignment, length 40. We understand this? Fantastic. We're now going to do the exact same. So hyphen padding, right alignment, length 40 with format. So print, just open the string, and we do the same colon, hyphen, right alignment, 40, but we don't put a in here. Instead, we do dot format, like literally direct, we close the string, dot format, it's a string method, and we call a like this, and then we close the print function, and then we get the exact same output. So one thing to note is that you don't actually have to pass variables to format. You can pass just native strings themselves. So we could just write hello, and we get the same output. Of course, you have to pass a string. You can't just pass it hello because it thinks hello is a name and a variable. So basically, you see here, everything after the colon is the exact same. You specify the format specification the exact same way. And so I won't go over all of that again. Padding multiple strings gets more complex, and this is actually why f-strings, one of the main reasons why f-strings were introduced, because it can just get so difficult to read if you're doing many of these formats. And yeah, let's go over just a couple now, and these may even get a bit confusing. We've got our A is hello, B is world, exclamation mark, excellent. We've already seen up here this. We're going to recreate this using format. So we know that we don't need to put A in here and we don't need to put B in here. Instead, we're going to write this exact same thing out and then do dot format and put A and B in there. And it's quite nice. So if you have two replacement fields and pass two variables to format, A and B, like we do here, then A is going to go to the first one and B is going to go to the second one. So print, I'm just going to copy this out. Pro tip, you shouldn't ever be copying and pasting code, especially at the start. It's much better. You learn actually how to type all of this out. You get the feel for it, and plus, there's so many times where I've copied pasted code and it's just been slightly wrong, and you want to change bits here, and you forget which bits you need to change, or you just introduce bugs. So it's really bad. Don't do it. Let's go back here because I did the wrong bracket. Wonderful. So this has been, I've basically just copied this out, except removed F and removed A and B. So now we're going to do dot format A, B. And we'll see, oops, don't need that. And we'll see that A is going to go to this one and B is going to go to this one. Wonderful, we get the same result. So, to be more explicit, you can refer to the arguments of format, i.e. the A and B, using indexes inside your replacement fields. So the indexes, as with pretty much every index, starts counting from 0. So we have the exact same thing here, but we're going to reference A, like the first argument of format, using the index 0. And we're going to reference B, i.e. the second argument of format, at index 1, with the number 1. And we'll see we get the same result. Boom. But One of the nice things you can do with this, with format, is you can call the indices in whatever order you want. So let's say we want A actually to come second, we can do this. And if we want B to come first, we can do this. So now it's going to put world exclamation mark where hello is, and it's going to put hello where world exclamation mark is. Great. So it's just swap them around. This is nice, but it's also pretty confusing because when you're reading this, you're like, okay, so 0 means A, but then now 1, that doesn't mean A, that means B, and so it's a bit weird. One thing that's nice is that you can call this argument like multiple times. So we'll take this exact same thing, but we're going to add some more text, and then we're going to call B again. So we're going to use index 1, and then we'll fill it using an exclamation mark. We'll make it left aligned because we haven't had anything left aligned yet, and we will make it 12 characters long in total. And you'll see that it then calls world exclamation mark and adds on more exclamation marks. So that's one thing that's nice, but it's pretty hard to read, really, these kind of positional arguments things, and this is why like F strings are the way to go, really. And finally, of course, as with pretty much everything with formats, I'll just go back to this easy one, you don't have to specify the variables, you can just type them in manually if you want. And we get the exact same here as we do here. Wonderful. As I've been saying so many times, which should we choose, format or F strings? Python introduced F strings in PEP 498. Really, really good read. Really recommend this for all the reasons why, but a very quick reason is because, as I've said so many times, the format syntax can be verbose. It's actually quite slow to evaluate and hard to read. F strings, on the other hand, really simple, evaluate way faster, and are much easier to read. So you should always be using them instead of format. However, you'll probably see format in the wild and in lots of like Stack Overflow answers and stuff, so good to know how to use it. So, in summary, what did we learn? We learned loads of different ways you can pad zeros and any other character to strings. If you just want to pad zeros to the left of the string, the best option is the zfill, standing for zero fill string method. It was literally designed to solve this problem. To pad different characters, you should be using ljust, rjust, or center. If you want left justification, right justification, or center. Or you can use F strings, or if you're a crazy person, you can use format. The built-in methods are much easier to learn, read, and implement. Also, special bonus, right? We can put the string format methods, if you really want to, we can do it like this. We can do a.zfill 10, and we can call this inside our F string. Woohoo, like that. And we can also do a.center, and we'll make it 10, and we'll fill it with an exclamation mark. Oh wait, see this is the issue actually here, because you still have to specify it as a string here. But it is possible to call these within F strings if you really want to. Some would argue that it's easier to read, but you can also use this syntax, which is, once you get the hang of it, can be quite intuitive too. Anyway, it's important you know them all. You'll see them all out in the wild. There you go. Final point, the references for this article, really recommend checking them out. There's loads and loads of good stuff online about F strings, string formatting. It's something that's really important in Python, and the community feels the official docs aren't really super helpful and are a bit difficult to understand. So check out these resources here. There's even a dedicated site, pyformat.info, which just teaches you about formatting. There's even the OG of Python formatting, which we didn't even cover in this article, which is using the % sign. So that's covered in this site here. Is it going to load? Yes, it is. So really, really good stuff here. You'll see that using the percent sign here instead of format, even though this is slightly out of date because it says that format is new, still good to go over it. So thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please do hit that subscribe button. We're putting out new content regularly. We want to take you from zero to hero with Python. If you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. We really look forward to them, and we want you to become as good as you possibly can at Python and just to help you on your journey. If you think that Python is amazing, you'd love to do it all the time and be a freelancer and earn money doing it, that's what I do. I'm a professional Python freelancer, and it's because of the course, the Thinkster course, Python, the Thinkster freelancer course. I took it and am now, this is literally why you're listening to me right now. So cannot recommend that enough. It teaches you everything you need to know in Python, and also what you need to know to start getting contracts on Upwork and make your first 1,000 a month to 3,000 to 5,000 a month and beyond. So thank you very much again. Look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care. Bye.